What is going on, everyone? It is Tyler McKinney back here again, and I told you I would be back. Hey, if it's your first time here, glad to have you. If you're a return viewer, thanks for coming back and thanks for watching more videos. And if you haven't yet, I'd love it if you'd consider subscribing. That would be great. It would be fantastic. I would love it. It would be awesome because then we could interact more and you guys would be ready for my videos and all of that type of stuff. All kidding aside, though, leave me the comments down in the comment section because you know that I love interacting with you guys. I love interacting. Listen, as sports fans, that's half of the fun is just talking with each other and chatting about sports, and that's what I love doing, and that's why we're doing this YouTube channel, and that's why I created this whole community, so we can just have fun talking about sports. So, without further ado, let's talk about sports. There's none going on right now. Well, I guess that's that. I'm just kidding. No, today we had some interesting information. We got some information, from Dr. Fauci, and I think I pronounced that right. You know me, I'm terrible with names. But Dr. Fauci, he did an interview with Good Luck America, and they were asking him all sorts of different weird questions and this and that, and they were kind of trying to have fun, and then they got to the serious stuff. That's right, folks, sports. Got to the stuff that we love, but people are just yearning and they want to know. And so the question was asked of him, do you see us having any Major League Baseball? Do you see us having any kind of football in the fall? Doctor, let us know what you think. And he kind of told us what he thought. He thought, yeah, that we could, but there ain't no way we're doing it with spectators. So that brings me to my first question. Before we dive any more into that, and if you want to watch that interview, I'll put a link to it down in the description, and you guys can watch that on your own. Can we have sports without spectators? That is a really, really good question. Well, of course we can. Heck yes, we can. Shoot, there's millions of us that watch sports on our couch every day, every weekend, and whenever we can. And there's been a lot of people that are having legit withdrawals because they can't watch sports. So can we have sports without spectators? Yes. Is it going to be weird? Yes. Will it be weird not having the roar of the crowd? Yes. If you're a wrestling fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about because you've been watching wrestling now for probably about a month and nobody's been in the stands. So there's been no crowd reaction to anything and it's all just been really weird. I mean, weird. Like Matt Hardy all the way up in the upper deck, standing there and doing some jaw thing that would have got a humongous pop had anybody have been there. It was a cool thing, but there's just some things that you just need crowds there for. Is it sports? You know, I don't know. I do know that crowds make a difference in things, especially college football. I mean, with college football, the roar of the crowd and having that there, that home field advantage really does say a lot. I mean, it says so much that, think about it, Vegas, there's usually a 3-point swing to the home team. That's how much that the home field advantage means to the home team. And for some places, some venues, like whether it be at Boise State with the Bluegrass, or whether it be, a place like in Seattle, where they're playing there at Century Field, and the place is designed to make it loud. So, there is that element that you remove out of there. I mean, and nothing's worse than seeing an empty stadium. I mean, we saw some of those with the XFL, so we know what we've got there with it. So, but in all reality, can we have sports without spectators? Yes, we can, and that's probably the only way we're going to do it. And right now, sports is hurting in general. They're not coming out and saying it, but listen, it's getting to the point. I know some of the big dogs have the money to stay in the game, but when you got places, you've got the WWE who's they released wrestlers today and that. And, it really shows that this is affecting, everything. And And I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see if this continues on and the economy really can't get back to what it's doing, and these teams can't make money their traditional way that they make money. You're going to see some things change. You're going to see a lot of contracts restructured, because the fact of the matter is people are going to want paychecks. They're not going to want to be released. I mean, they need a livelihood. Whether you like it or not, I mean, a lot of these guys, I mean, we've already been hearing the NBA players are living paycheck to paycheck, and they need that to survive. And some of you guys are like, oh, those millionaires, they can go fend for themselves. I mean, whatever. I mean, I don't know. They're making millions of dollars, but I do know that until you walk a mile in their shoes, you just don't know. So I'm not going to go out there. I'm not going to judge for anything with it. I just know the fact that that's what we're dealing with here. I mean, we are literally dealing with something to where something has to give. I mean, you've got an industry that relies on spectators. So not having fans in the stand is a huge deal. I think that also too is part of the reason why we're getting a lot of these revamped logos, jerseys, and things like that. Now, granted, I think that the NFL would have done a lot of this already, but they wouldn't have made a big deal about it. And all of these videos and these unveilings and all of this stuff. Now, granted, I know that that's part of the sports world having absolutely nothing to talk about. And so that's why we're talking about it here too, because it's been made a big deal, so we're going to talk about it. But the sports need stuff, and that's part of the way to generate new revenue and things of that nature. And if you want me to do a video on what I think of the new NFL uniforms, logos, and all that, you can go ahead and leave me a comment down in the comment section, and I'll definitely go through and I'll do a video on that if you want that. I'll give you guys my opinion on that stuff with them. But yeah, so I mean, we're looking at that in all reality. The sports world needs the spectators. Do they need the spectators to be there? No, and I think really they need. I mean, TV deals seems to be where the money's at. But don't get me wrong, there's money in putting butts in the seat. I mean, you're talking hundreds and hundreds of dollars people are spending to go to these pro NFL games. That's a lot of money, especially when you start saying, places selling out and being sold out. And, you got 60,000 fans. And let's say if each one of those people was the equivalent of $100 a piece, you're looking at $6 million right there. Bam, boom, right off the bat. And so, we're looking at a lot of money that's there. But there's a lot of money in the TV deals. And trust me, ESPN, Fox, CBS, they're dying, NBC, they're dying for something. And they need something, for their programming for sports, because they're missing out on tons and tons of programming. So that's kind of my thoughts on the spectator part of what he was saying, and he pretty much flat out said no, that's not going to be happening. So you fill it with a lot of cameras and angles, which they kind of already have, and he talked about baseball and getting baseball back, and that if you put them in these big hotels and do a lot of testing. And when these guys and these teams go city to city, make sure you test a lot and make sure that they're not getting, this virus and that. And so you have all that, and he sees that there's a way to do it, but, it's almost like, to me, some of it, though, is kind of contrary to what we've been kind of fed as a society, which is interesting to me. So you're going to want them to test these people as they go in and out of these cities and as they do that for these games. I mean, I could see it once a week, possibly, being, for these NFL teams. In all reality, I could see them finding like a location like what the XFL did that has some stadiums there and that they can just go through a round so that they don't have a lot of people traveling. They keep them all in one area, and maybe they do a couple week rotation things where they have teams in different areas, and they stay in that area for 3 or 4 weeks, and then they rotate and they move them, and then they kind of live in these, they kind of create these like monthly communities, so to say. I could see some of that stuff happening in that with it to try to get some of these seasons going. But I mean, and I apologize. I apologize for not giving credit where credit is due. But one of you guys down in the comment section made a good point. So are we going to take and put 100 people all on a field all together? And that's just talking players and coaches. I mean, if you think about these NFL teams, they've got 50 people, 50 players active. That's not counting staff. I mean, when you're looking at this, I mean, you could have in these places literally 1,000 people in that stadium just to make the production. We're not talking about anything else and all that, just to operate what's going on. You could have around 1,000 people. Now, I could be shooting that way too high. Maybe it's more around like, 300, 400, 500. I don't know. But still, that's a lot of people in that area that they're not even wanting right now to do that. I mean, they're wanting us to stay away from each other as much as possible. The fact of the matter is that having a basketball game is more people in a small area than they want right now. And that's the reality of it. And it could be the fact that maybe we're starting to see a glimmer of hope. That Fauci is telling us, Dr. Fauci is telling us that, maybe we've seen the worst of this and that, maybe things are going to, we're going to see that trend down now. I don't know with it, but, when I look at this and you're telling me you're going to do all these tests, but we're short on tests and we're doing all of, this, we're doing all of these measures, taking all of these measures that we are to prevent things and to do that. I mean, listen, you guys know me. I love my sports and, I especially love my football. However, the lives of people are much more important than sports. Period. That's just done. It's a done deal, and you know how that is for me. And so, I think he's trying to be optimistic here. I think he's having a little play, a little fun with this news anchor person, and I think that's there. He seems to be a Nationals fan. Wants to see his Nationals play again, and all that. And it's cool because you can see that he's definitely a fan and gets it. But I also think that he's probably being a little bit more optimistic than what is there. However, this is what I will say, that there's enough money out there in sports that we could quite possibly start to see them trying everything they can to get sports back. And the sad thing about it is I think that our society would allow these people to risk if what I've been told is true and all the measures that we have to take and all the measures we've been taking are true, then, we could be putting these people. I'm not talking about athletes now. We're talking about them as actual people. These are not actors. These are real people. We're looking at them as not as athletes, as real people. We're putting these real people then, according to their terms, in danger by putting that many people in that small of an area and moving them around to these different communities and doing that. And that's not even counting spectators. So, I think it was just they're trying to have fun with things, trying to give people a little bit of, hey, there's some brightness at the end of the tunnel. We've kind of, that there's light at the end of the tunnel, trying to give people hope in that with it. And I want to be optimistic. Listen, I want football season to come as all of you do too, and I want to see this thing go. But now, talking about the XFL, after watching this interview and looking at some things and kind of letting it digest and do this, it is actually starting to maybe bring a little bit more optimism. Hey, I appreciate all of your guys' optimism down in the comment section of the last video. All you guys that really are rooting for the XFL and really wanted to come back even after the bankruptcy, they might be able to do this. I mean, you know that Vince McMahon, he has connections. And, he has the ties to Donald Trump, and you know that. And so, he knows kind of the landscape of what's going on and can kind of get some information and that with it, to where, maybe he's setting himself up to where, okay, let's keep our cash flow that we got here, keep our cash in hand, and, we're going to have to do this thing we don't want to do right now, but we're going to treat everybody the right way. We're going to do everything we can the right way, and then we're going to once this thing's over, we're going to crank her back up. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe they just looked at it, when they're like, okay, this thing's going to, we're going to go through, we're going to get through this thing, and then we're going to turn around and we're going to hit it hard, 2021, and maybe they went through and they're, and they got the word that, listen, we're not even football is going to be, play of this, and they're like, okay, well, all right, well, let's shut her down, boys, and we'll see what we can do, and that seems to be what they might be doing. So, who knows? It could be the fact that that him shutting it down could be what saves the XFL. I don't know. We don't know with that, and we don't know what's going to happen and what's going to shoot. It's felt like an eternity, and it's really only been, for us here in the United States that we've really been looking at this thing. It's really only been about 6 weeks that we've really kind of, been dealing with this in the United States. So, on a full-on national scale. And, I know some of the states have been dealing with it a little bit longer than that, but, that's kind of, what we're looking at here. And so, I think it's taken a lot of people by surprise, and we just don't know. So it was cool to see that, that Dr. Fauci was kind of going through, and he was, still understanding, people's want for sports and what sports means to the communities out there. So I thought that was pretty cool. I liked it. So yeah, go ahead and check it out. Like I said, I'll leave it down in the description, and you can look at the interview for yourself and see what you think. I thought it was pretty good, and I like the hope that he had in it. That listen, we're gonna get out of this, things might be a new norm, but listen, United States, we're resilient. The world, people are resilient. People are amazing. It truly is neat to see. And the other thing is, you got to remember that the one who is in control, and that's God. And it truly does remind me daily as we go through this that He's the one in control. That and that we need to turn it over to Him. And again, all you guys out there, continue to pray for the world, pray for your nation, pray for all the nations of the world, pray for all of the people that are going through all of this and that, and count your blessings, and just be in a time with this, be thankful for what you got, because like so many people, tomorrow it might change drastically. So just that's pretty much it. I probably lingered a little bit too long on this video on that, but hopefully you got some tidbits out of it, and hopefully with it maybe we can find some hope and really look to the future with that. I know I'm ready to get out of this, and I know you guys are too. All right, so that's pretty much all I got for tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. Let's have that discussion. And also too, before I forget, I will be here soon within about a week, I will be opening up memberships to the my YouTube channel. YouTube has allowed me to do that, and so thanks to all of you out there, to where I'll be adding extra content for those people who want to be members of the channel. And so if you have any suggestions on what you would like to see as part of the membership content, let me know down in the description. I would love to hear that. I'd love to hear your thoughts. You guys are awesome and you're amazing. That's why I ask you. So let me know down there. All right, guys, I've already talked way too long. So I know that you're busy. I know that I'm busy. So let's get on out of here. You have a good night. Bye.